Welcome into Sport Talk with Dwat. I'm your host, Dwat, and on this show, I got a big sports fan. It's my dad. What's going on, Dad?
What's going on, buddy? Good to be with you. I've been watching your shows and they're excellent. So I'm proud to be with you here.
Thanks for watching them. And on this show, we're going to talk about Georgia Tech, Georgia, some Georgia Tech baseball. We're going to talk about some just all kind of miscellaneous Georgia Tech football talk from the past to now to what's coming up next in the future.
Sounds
With
good.
With that being said, we're going to get on into news of the week. Florida State keeps Mike Norvell as the head coach. What's your take on that, Dad?
Well, that tells me one thing because they're not good. They're 5-6 right now, and that's not good enough for Florida State. But the reason they're keeping him, I think, is because they don't have the money to
Mm.
get rid of him. So they're going to bide their time and put together the money package. Plus, there's so much competition this cycle. They're better off to just hang out one more year. Florida's not any good either, so they'll both kind of stink it up together Saturday. Uh, but yeah, it costs a lot of money to buy him out and then go buy out somebody else and all that mess. So they just don't have the money right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. It gets pricey when you want to fire one guy and hire another guy when they got a high buyout. So
Yeah.
I'll be curious what takes place in the coming years with that. All right, Las Vegas Raiders fire Chip Kelly. Where do you think he's going to do next on that?
Well, he was head coach at well, he was the head coach at Oregon. He basically invented all these high upscale, up tempo offenses. So he is a great offensive mind. Uh, but then he was tired of being a head coach, so he
Hmm.
went to UCLA. Didn't like being a head coach. Went to Ohio State, led them to the national championship as the OC. Then he went to Vegas. They fired him. I think he can get one of these jobs if he wants to. He's considered an offensive genius. He invented a lot of this stuff, so he can get the job if he wants it. It just matters if he wants to be a head coach anymore.
Yeah, I'd be curious on my end where he goes if he wants to get back to college. I think that's where he fits better at. I think he connects better with
Mhm.
the players, and I feel like people like him, fans like him, players like him. He's got the high tempo, high speed offense, and I like that kind of offense. Get him spread out, throw it deep, and go for it a lot on fourth down and stuff like that. So I like Chip, and hopefully he comes back to college football. All right,
Yes.
Lane Kiffin. This has been a hot topic, and I'm ready to ask you, where is the Lane train headed next?
It wouldn't be a show without lane talk, right?
That's right.
So everyone knows about LSU in Florida. Probably he's going to go to LSU, but there's a couple of conspiracy theories that I like. Number one is the New York Giants. He has already been in the NFL once. He was too young, he wasn't ready, and he didn't do well. I think he would like to go back under his terms. He's got a lot more experience. Plus, the quarterback is Jackson Dart. It's going to be his guy for the next 10, 12 years. So I think they'd be a good marriage. So it could shock the world and go to the New York Giants. Now, I think what he really would love to do would go to Alabama. How's that going to happen, you say? Well, there's a crazy rumor that Penn State is courting uh, the coach of Alabama because he's from the Northeast. He might be tired of this pressure cooker of Alabama. He might want to go back to his home area. He's not from Alabama. It may not be for him. Uh, so if he were to leave, it'd be shocking. But Lane would take that job in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that take. That's something different. We ain't heard that one yet, and I have not heard that on online on ESPN or anything like that. So that makes sense. It all lines up. So I think we're going to know Saturday afternoon after the Egg Bowl on Friday is the big
Mhm.
announcement. I said on here, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. I thought he was going to go to Florida, but I think that's really starting to fall off. and I think LSU is going to be the contender. They got the money. They're going to show them some money, and they're going to pay these players a lot down there. They've already got like all this money set aside for for players. So I was seeing some big numbers on the money, million, 13 million I saw somewhere. So that's a little bit wild, I think, for college football coaching, but it's just going to get higher in how they pay these players. Now they're going to pay these coaches a lot. And I wouldn't want to go to LSU or Florida right now. I feel like it's just going to be quite the process to get turned around. And there's no rebuild seasons in college football anymore.
Right.
So these guys are out the door quick. So they're going to give him a big, long contract. And he better, and if something happens after year 2 or 3 or 4, they're going to want his head. So it's a mess, but I guess they live for it. They love it. And he likes to move around a lot. He don't like to sit still, and he's doing. So I like Ole Miss right now. He's doing good at Ole Miss. He's winning the games. He's going to the playoffs. Just a little bit of patience. I like to see some more patience out of him, and build that team. And if you get in the playoffs, you never know what you're going to do. You might go all the way. That'd be kind of cool to see. But he's a high tempo. He likes to toss the ball a lot, and he's got. I like him as a coach. I know a lot of people might not care for him for his coaching, but he's brings a lot of attention, and he'll fit good at Florida or LSU.
I think he believes it'll come easier at LSU. Ole Miss is he can win there, but it's not as easy. It's a small state with a small population. They probably don't have the money and the in-state talent like Louisiana would. Um, so we'll just see. It could go either way. I think he'll probably take the LSU. Plus, if he stays in this limbo too long, he's going to burn bridges with his home team.
Yeah, they
So
can't. Yeah, they can't like this
no,
talk going on. It's got to be a distraction. The
no,
players can't like it. The recruits can't like it.
right.
So it's time for an
So
answer.
yeah, he'll do something Saturday evening, but we'll see.
Yep, I agree with you on that. That's how it's going to go. All right, let's get into some tech football talk. I want to hear about the past first, then we'll go to the present, and then the future. So let's hear about the past from games you went to as a child with your parents or your brother or your sister. I don't know if she went with you. Let's kind of hear about that.
Well, this is how I got into this mess.
Okay.
So I grew up 20 miles south of Grant Field. Okay. So I grew up in the metro Atlanta. And back then, Georgia Tech was the deal. Georgia was just considered a country school. If you grew up in metro Atlanta, you pulled for Georgia Tech. Simple as that, unless you maybe moved there from somewhere else. But if you're an Atlanta native, you pulled for Georgia Tech. My grandpa, he's really the one that started it all. Hugh Watkins, he went to all the Georgia Tech games in the 30s and 40s, and they were great. They were winning championships in the SEC. Uh, then in the 50s, my dad got in the mix, and they won the national championship in 52. So he was like 12 years old. So he was all in. And then I wanted to get in, I've been hearing them talk about it and stuff. So September 1970, I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And I guess he felt like I was finally ready. So we went to the game. Now, back then, there weren't very many games on television. The way you kept up with your team was radio and newspaper. I know it sounds crazy to all the young people, but so 1970 September, Georgia Tech was playing Florida State at Tech. We went. My first game ever, and oh my gosh, I walked in that stadium. It seemed like it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen. And I sat down, and they were doing the introductions, and the sun hit those gold helmets, and I was all in. I was just amazed. I couldn't believe this was 20 miles from my house. And I said, I'm in. So that's how I got in. Um, Went to a bunch of games. Heck, by the time I was 16, I'd drive myself, me and my friends. My dad still went, my brother, but we went every Saturday. I've been to a couple hundred games easy. Um, it's a ritual. You got your varsity trip.
Yeah.
You got everything. It's a ritual. Like we were when we were there last night. I told you I've been walking up and down that sidewalk since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So it's tradition. The colors are flying. The sun's out in the daytime. It's October, November. It's tradition. Um, so that's how I got into it. Heck, I had season tickets for over 15 years. We moved to Chattanooga
Yeah.
and started a family, and things changed a bit. We still went. I took you when you were a little fella
Yeah.
and got you in this mess. Uh, so it's all where you're born and raised. I know you kind of have a split allegiance with Tennessee, and that's cool because you weren't really living in you've never lived in Georgia, so I get that. Uh, but yeah, it's just family tradition, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's that, that was a cool a, a backstory on that. So let's talk about, so you moved to Chattanooga. That was when you kind of maybe had your chance to break away or not be a fan. What kept you from being up here to still being a fan, you know, of the team?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of lean years. We had more lean years than good years back then. We were a Southern independent. We weren't even in a conference, and it was a mess. We got in the ACC around 1980. Um, 80, I moved up here in 88. 85, we had a big year, went 9-2. Kind of reinvigorated things, won a bowl game. Um, and I just felt it was worth hanging on. Moved up here in 88. Well, heck, in 1990, we won the national
Yes,
championship.
yeah. Okay.
So it worked out beautifully. And I'm not going to turn my back on that. So
Right.
I said, I'm in for life, good or bad or indifferent. You know, some people don't, they fly with the breeze, but I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And heck, I've been there my whole life. So I'm in for life.
I came along and I enjoy going to the games. It's fun to go to the football, baseball game, whatever it takes to get down there, and I'm for it. And yeah, I mean, I live, it's tricky because I live here in Tennessee. It's tricky, but I like the colors. You know, night games or day games, it doesn't matter. Just the sun, just how it hits the helmet. It's magical. It's great. Like on TV, I like to compare other teams' colors, and you can't beat the white and gold. So those are some really key colors, and I like how it all comes together on game day. So
Yeah.
let's talk about kind of what's going on now with the team. So we were down there. We won't talk a lot about it, but we were there. This is the best season. Was it 1966 or something
Yeah.
like that? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they've get the players together, getting the coaches together. This is the year it's still a great year, and you might lose a couple, but you just got to kind of keep your head up about it and think on the positive side. So let's kind of talk about now and the future on what you want to see.
Yeah. Well, I'm very encouraged.
Yep.
We went through a horrible period with Jeff Collins. I don't even want to talk about that. But as recently as 3 years ago, Georgia Tech was a laughing stock. No one
Yeah.
cared. Lucky to draw 30,000 people. It was bad. But Brent Key is the right man. We got the right coach. Got a recently new president who believes in sports. There's been times down there when they were just hell bent on academics only. Georgia Tech's a different kind of school than these big state universities. They're definitely an academic school, so they're never going to get away from that. But you can be both, and this new president embraces that. We got a good athletic director who came from Tennessee. He understands the big time, and he wants Georgia Tech to be the big time. We've got the everything's in place with from the top down with the president, AD, and head coach. I think this NIL era is actually going to be good for us. The best high school football in America is probably within a 50-mile circle of Atlanta. So I think we're going to be able to recruit as long as the money's right. And you get a lot of rebounds. You get a lot of guys transferring back that thought they wanted to go to Texas or they thought they wanted to go to Alabama. And then they said, I'd rather go. I think I'll come back home. So we're gonna get a lot of good transfers. We already are. So I think we're positioned beautifully. So I was disappointed, obviously, Saturday night, but the sun came up Sunday,
Yeah.
and I'm over it. Uh, we're a little ahead of schedule, probably 9-2 right now. Even if we don't win next time, but hey, 9 wins is nice. I'm happy.
Yeah, and as a fan, and all this money talk, I'll kind of give my take on how I think it's starting to look team wise and whatnot. I think it's working out good for Georgia Tech with the NIL. It lets these other teams kind of be even. It's the more even ground. I feel like the games are closer, more competitive. You don't see the blowouts. You don't see these big teams taking over and winning every year. What's one change that maybe that there was back in the day to now with how the game flows, with the stuff like that?
Well, I don't want to sound like an old timer, but the ear splitting rap music that they play nonstop is not my cup of tea. They need to let the game breathe a little bit. If there's a pause in the action, let the stadium get loud or quiet a little bit. The music seems forced to me. It's pushed the band all the way out of the picture, but not a big fan of that. And I think we talked about it when we were driving the other day. They don't measure for first downs anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't figure that out, but you never see a measurement anymore. And that used to be common. I like the game. I like the high scoring. If you can just make the other team punt a few times, you have a good chance of winning. I like that. I'm a traditionalist, but I'm on board with it.
Yeah, I've just had to kind of get used to it. Got long TV timeouts, and if you're there, they were 3 minutes. Some were 3 minutes long, and that's it. It's a long time. I don't like the music either. I'm kind of old school. I like the band. I don't really think I heard it one time. It was they didn't. It was just a weird situation there, and I wish there was somehow a way to bring that back, but they want people there. I thought it was a really good atmosphere at that game. I never would have thought I would have heard that place that loud. And the fans for a game that we were behind the entire game, we never had the lead, and it was absolutely rocking there at halftime when that guy didn't had those tries with the field goal, and he missed them both. So the fans were going wild, and then the flag, and then they got to kick it again, and the crowd got right back into it, and it was really good to see that. I didn't know if I was going to see that again or see it at all, but now they got 9 wins and the fan base is there. The only thing I don't like about it is we finally got these wins going our way, and then people are going to come to the game, and then the home team loses.
hmm It took
But
forever. It took forever to get Atlanta back on board because of some of the past problems. But I think they understand what's going on. And man, that was a good atmosphere.
yeah.
If we'd ever took the lead, that place would have come off its hinges. But it was great. So I'm encouraged.
Let's talk about some of the defensive coaching or players, or what is your take on some of what's going on with the defense these last few weeks?
Well, we kind of got hung out to dry last year because we had a pretty good defense, and the coordinator got hired by the Baltimore Ravens at the
Mm-hmm.
last minute. So we had to go out and get a new coordinator. He's a University of Texas DB coach. He never been a coordinator before, so he's kind of learning as well. Started off good. I think it's just kind of caught up to us. I don't think our front seven is where we want it yet. Uh, we have to blitz to get a lot of pressure. And so it's just a learning process. We got to get a little more talent under our belt. Um, so it kind of is what it is. We're just going to hope it develops.
Okay. What about the offense? Let's talk about Haynes King with him, and also like got all these players around Haynes King. What makes him great?
I don't know. To look at him, he looks average.
Yeah.
He's not really. muscular or overly big, but he must have a heart as big as Texas, as they say, because he lowers his head and runs over people. He just finds a way. Now he had a bad game
Yeah.
Saturday night, but it's one of just a few ever. Um, he makes good decisions generally. You know, we had a bad decision on an interception the other night, but he's just one of those guys. He's just a winner. Something about him. I don't think he'll be much of an NFL player, but he'll be a heck of a high school or college coach.
Okay.
He's just got the intangibles, and he's a winner.
I like that. I think he'd be a good coach. I feel like he would connect well with young people and really show them how to throw touchdown passes and how to scramble and how to lower your shoulder. I hope he can hang on and get through the year without any kind of injuries. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive into it. We're going to talk about this game Friday night. First, I'm going to let you kind of paint the picture on this game Friday night. Where is it at? What time is it at? And stuff like that.
Well, it's a Georgia Tech home game, kinda. So what happened was our former athletic director decided to get a big infusion of money, and he sold the game to the Mercedes Dome.
Hmm.
So we got a $10 million check above and beyond all other expenses, which we needed the money, um, probably for NIL and other things. So we took the money. But on the downside of that, uh, it's not going to be much of a home atmosphere. It's going to be at an NFL stadium, and Georgia will overwhelm it. And so it's going to be 50-50 at best, probably a little more red than white and gold. So it just is what it is. It won't happen again. Our new athletic director's already said that. So we will be playing at home from now on. We might have to pay up a little bit for tickets, but we can have all our games at home. And it's a great atmosphere. It's traditional, and we'll just have to see.
Yeah, that's I would have liked to seen it this year play at Tech. I thought this would have been the year to have it at Georgia Tech. It'd been a great atmosphere, and it's tricky with NIL. This is the part I don't like about it. It all comes down to the money and where you can get this money at from donors, from selling your games off and play at different stadiums. Um, I just I'm afraid it's going to be a takeover by Georgia with the fan wise. I already kind of expect it. It happened in at Tech a years back. It was pretty bad. So it's like an experiment. I'm all for trying something every now and then. So let's just try
Mhm.
this. I just feel like a lot goes on for them. They're going to get the advantages. They know that field well. They play their conference championship game there almost every year.
Yeah.
They know the lights. They know the field. They know the lines. They just know it. And I'll go first here. I think that game's going to get lost in the wash with all the other games going on this weekend and on Friday. I like for it to be a Saturday night 7:30 ABC game, which has been like the last 2 years, and it gets really good views.
Mhm.
And when I heard it come, when they had the news a while back about it being played elsewhere, and I didn't know it was a Friday, and then I didn't know it was Friday afternoon. So it's really not going well on that side of things, I don't think. So what's your take on it being played on a Friday afternoon?
Well, TV makes the schedule, but TV pays you the money. You got to do what they say. If they'd have known we were going to have a big year like this, I don't think this would have been scheduled quite like this. It would have got a better shot on time. Um, but in the modern era, you just do what you got to do, and you know, it'll all work out for the best.
Gotcha. Georgia's fourth overall. They're 10-1 for the record. Um, we'll make a little bit of a pick maybe a little bit later on, something like that. But what do you want to see as a Tech fan? What do you just want to see out of the team play Georgia?
Well, I want them to play loose. I've
Yeah,
got a hot take in a minute about that, but I want them to play loose. I want them to take the pressure off themselves and just do what it takes. Like last year, we were up 17 points. I think it was the middle of the third, maybe even late in the third. And I've seen it before. Once when I was a kid, we were up 20 at halftime and lost. So um, I didn't want to get overly excited. I never get overly excited against that team until it's 3 zeros on the board, on the scoreboard, because they'll trail for 58 minutes and then they'll come nip you at the end. So if we get a chance, we just need to do what it takes, play loose, and it's not a conference game, so just give them your best shot.
Yeah. Which last year went into overtime, 8 overtimes. How long does it take as a someone that's from Georgia? How long does it take if the game doesn't go well from last year or in the past to kind of get over and get ready for the next game or the off season?
That ties into my hot take. You
Okay, go
ready?
ahead. Yes.
When it's the last game of the year
Yeah.
and you lose, it's horrible.
Yes.
For a Georgia Tech fan, it's horrible. I mean, I feel bad until April. Now I know I'm a fanatic and I get it, but it's horrible. So my hot take is this. Let's move this game to the third week of the season. Why, you ask? Because Georgia Tech puts too much emphasis on this game. They get tight, they get scared, not scared, but they get nervous, and the ball bounces funny on them because they're tight. I think if we moved it up in the season, Iowa and Iowa State do this. They are in-state rivals, but they're in different conferences. They play in week 3. You get a couple non-conference under your belt. Then you play this big game. If you lose, it's okay. You got another game in 6 days. If you win, it's okay too. You got another game in 6 days. It de-emphasizes the pressure. Georgia Tech has only won 4 times this century against Georgia. Okay, that ain't gonna get it. So, and I can name 8 or 9 more we should have won. And it's just bad things happen with pressure, tightness, and just overemphasis. So let's move it up in the year, tone it down a little bit, and see what happens. That's just a thought.
I like that because Tech was playing really good this year. For example, early on, if we would have played them early on, they barely beat Tennessee. They were sneaking by Auburn there a few weeks back, and now they're. I mean, well, I just gotta say they're a good team. They're a good team,
There,
and
there.
they're tough to beat. So what? So do you think they have finally caught up to Georgia with the recruiting and maybe a little bit of the money, or is it still they a little bit behind? You think on that side of things?
Well, it's always going to be advantage Georgia simply because they've got 90, not maybe not 90, they've got a big percentage of the state that loves them.
Right.
They've got the man on the street that loves them. They just got a lot of advantages. They're in the SEC. That's more of a money situation. They get more TV money than the ACC teams get. So they're going to always have advantages. We even have an academic hurdle they don't have, right?
Yeah.
We have to recruit players that at least care about academics and are willing to do the work. Over there, not so much. Sorry, but that's just the facts. Um, so they're always going to have the advantage, but we don't need to be 4-20 against them this century. We need to be more, I don't know, 4 out of every 10. I'd be happy with 4 wins out of every 10. 5 out of 10 would be beautiful, but so we're catching them. We're catching them quickly.
Yeah.
They know it. Uh, that's why they want Brent Key to leave. They keep suggesting he take one of these other jobs. That means they're a little bit in their head a little bit.
I like how that we're kind of starting to make noise and they're at least thinking of I felt like for the last couple, let's just say maybe 10 or 15 years, like we're just kind of that little team from Atlanta, maybe that little sleepy team. They probably laugh at us. And it's just a fact. When you don't beat somebody for multiple years in a row, you get laughed at. And the fan
Yeah,
base gets laughed at. If you wear the tech stuff and you go into a store and they're the Georgia guy at the cash register or whatever, they gonna have something to say or they're gonna laugh probably. They're probably just gonna laugh. And
yeah.
when you win that much, you can laugh, I guess.
I've lived that battle.
Okay. Yeah.
It's ingrained in me for sure. So
Yeah.
thank goodness you haven't been around it quite to that level. But if
Right.
anyone in Georgia, they know what I'm saying.
Right. If I was from there, I would understand it. But yeah, I was kind of curious on how long it takes after a loss to kind of
6 months.
6 months. And
I'm just being honest.
6 months. I get it. They also play in other sports. Is that how you are for basketball and or baseball?
So there was a time when I was a basketball fanatic.
Yeah.
Bobby Crimmins, you've probably heard of him, and that was a great era. They kind of lost their way in basketball. This coach now is not the answer. It's just they're focusing on football right now. Basketball's kind of sitting on the back burner. I want to talk about baseball.
Yeah.
That's really getting ready to get hot. So basketball, we're going to have a change. We may need to get the money put together. Um, but yeah, basketball's not where it's at right now. Sorry.
Right before we go to baseball talk, let's talk about. So they wear the white and gold. They wear the black. A couple years back, they wore a gray. They got the buzz on the helmet. What is your favorite uniform that they wear, past and then now?
Gold pants, white shirt, gold helmet.
Oh yeah,
Georgia Tech and LSU are the only teams in America that traditionally wear a white shirt at home. That's very special. Um, I don't like all the gimmicks now.
yeah,
Give me gold pants, give me a white shirt. I actually prefer a black or a blue number because you can't see the gold number hardly in the stands. It looks good on TV. And a traditional gold helmet with the traditional gold outline, black outline GT.
yeah. That's what I've got right here.
That's Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's traditional uniform is Southern royalty. It is as good as any, and we need to embrace that.
Yeah, that was my exact uniform that I like. I like the gold, white, gold, and the buzz this year, which we saw in person. And I
Hmm.
don't like the gray pants. I'm not a fan of
No,
the gray. It didn't match the team color. I like the buzz helmet. Tech is definitely kind of starting to buy into the gimmicks, which is fine. I mean, it's all kind of goes back to the money talk we had earlier. Try something different, sell the stuff, sell the coaching shirt that I'm wearing, sell the stuff, get the fans into it. I think the fans like it. They all might not say it, but they want to check their phone on Wednesday or Thursday and see what they're wearing. I was doing the same
sure,
thing at both went to. I was curious,
sure,
um,
sure, sure.
kind of what they're wearing. So that's it's always something different. It seems like, but I like it. Now I'll let you talk about this part. So this year, so they're going to change their brand. What talk about where they're going to go to next?
Okay, so we've had Adidas for about 5 years, and it's been so-so. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been bad. Adidas cannot get the gold correct. It comes out khaki. Their gold is khaki or sand, as they even call it sand. So it is not a true old gold. Um, so June of next year, we switch over to Under Armour. Under Armour swears up and down that Georgia Tech is going to be a big priority for them. The first contract they ever had in the 80s was with Georgia Tech for t-shirts under the shoulder pads. So they are going to go all in for Georgia Tech. They don't sponsor that many teams, but the ones they do sponsor, they treat really well. So I don't think their shoes are probably any good, but they do uniforms good. The gold they do for Notre Dame and Navy. The Naval Academy is a good looking gold. So I'm excited about getting back to some true old gold uniforms on the pants. So I think it's going to be a positive. That plus the money's going to be better. So we'll see. But I feel like it's an upgrade.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the white and gold and see what they're going to come out with. I would like for them to stick with two colors, white and gold, which I've been hearing that's what they're going to try to stick to. Teams like Tennessee have orange and white, so it's good to see two colors, white and gold. All right. With that being said, we're going to do some baseball talk. Let's talk about some Tech baseball. Got a new coach. Let's hear what this season's going to be like.
All right. So Georgia Tech's got a good tradition in baseball. They've been to Omaha multiple times, but that was a long time ago. Things had gotten really stale. We had the oldest head coach in America, Danny Hall, 69 years old. He finally retired. I mean, God bless him, but he retired. So now we have a new head coach. He was the lead assistant. His name's James Ramsey. He's young, he's well connected. And just like in football, the best high school youth baseball in America is right around Atlanta, too. Uh, there's this program called the East Cobb Astros that just probably, if I'm not mistaken, there's 17 major leaguers that came through that program. He is well connected there. Um, he, I feel like he's going to take it to the next level. It's going to, for better or worse, it's probably going to surpass basketball for now and be our number two sport. I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be surprised, but not shocked if we went to Omaha right off the bat.
Oh, I like that. That's my hope. As a fan, I feel like this is going to be the year. New coach and kind of a new atmosphere. The other one was that this coach was good, but it's time to move on. So that I'd like to see Omaha happen. I think that's a really good chance, and I believe in my team. And we're going to get to a game. Nice
Yes.
warm Saturday spring. We're going to get down there and pull for the Jackets to get the baseball wins this year.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little golf talk. Now that you're retired, Dad, let's talk about some golf. Do you play? Is it every day, every other day? Is it here locally, or do you drive a little bit to go play?
Well, I've got a couple friends at my former job that I usually play with. I play Wednesdays, Sundays, sometimes Fridays. I practice today, so I
Okay.
usually have a club in my hand 4 or 5 days a week. Because I was away from it for a long, long time, and I'm kind of coming back in strong. So we'll see how this experiment goes, but I enjoy it a lot. I play locally. I'm not in a club. Brainerd, Brown Acres, Boxing Bend, all the way down to Calhoun, up to Fall Creek Falls. It's fun, especially this time of year.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. Probably the fall time, nice and cool. Get out there in the mornings and go out there and play. It's probably fun to get out there with some buddies and some old co-workers or people that you've known over the years, and it's got to be
Mhm.
fun to do once you retire. That's probably one of the best hobbies. Maybe golfing and fishing. You're
Yeah,
going to
we
take you're
got
going to take games.
yeah, that's right. We play golf, and my wife Anita and I we travel a lot,
Yeah.
and yeah, go to football. I'm back in the Georgia Tech culture, and I'm happy about that because I had to work Saturdays before, so I'm enjoying myself a lot.
That's good. It's good to see all that y'all doing now with the traveling, horse racing. That was pretty cool to see the pictures. I like seeing everything online on that you post on the Instagram and whatnot. It's cool to see kind of where you're going, and it's got to be nice to wake up in the morning knowing you ain't going to work.
That is the best. Yeah, you don't have the alarm clock unless you need it. And then if you got an event that day, you go ahead and set your clock. Otherwise, you can relax and enjoy your day leisurely. I worked hard a lot of years so I could do that.
Oh man, absolutely. That is correct. Anything else, Dad? You want to talk about?
Uh, how are we doing on time here?
We got about a minute and a half.
uh, I'm enjoying this podcast you do. I'd like for everybody to subscribe and give it a like. We need to get the subscriptions growing. It's a lot of fun for you, I think. I can tell you like it. So I appreciate you doing that. I appreciate you having me on. I'll be glad to come on anytime and give the old guy perspective, which is sometimes a little different and maybe good.
Thanks for that, and it's been fun. It's getting just to where I'm doing them twice a week right now. Getting out the content, getting out the videos. Whether it's me and Casper or me and uh, my nephews or stuff like that. It's fun to get on here, niece and nephew, friends, stuff like that. It's something I enjoy, and I'm just trying to get better at each week. And if you want to check us out on the socials, we're on Instagram, Facebook, X, Spotify, YouTube. Click all the buttons, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. But yeah, it's been a good. I think we covered everything.